92 with the Clippers outscoring Phoenix by 16 in the second half thanks to a dominant third quarter. Hi, welcome in. Good to have you with us. Playoff Central Live presented by AT&T 5G. That's 3D. Dennis Scott right over there. That's the Hall of Famer, ISIAH Thomas. I'm Matt Weiner. Good to have you with us. This has become the Clippers' MO, right? You bury yourself in an 0-2 hole and then you come back somehow. Even without Kawhi Leonard, they were dominant in the second half tonight. Really good defense against Chris Paul, who's back in this series now for Phoenix, and against Devin Booker, really the last two games. And defense is probably what carried them mostly tonight.
Most definitely. And when you talk about their defense, the way Patrick Beverley came out and played, and knowing him from the west side of Chicago, he went back to his west side of Chicago roots.
That's a tone for sure, and we saw that in Game 2. You may not love Patrick Beverley if you're an opponent. You may not love him if you're neutral, for that matter, because he's annoying. But
it's like when you're outside, like the net. That's how Patrick Beverley was.
But there's an effect. They were plus 24 with him on the floor tonight. And Chris Paul and Devin Booker were a combined 10 of 40 from the field.
Matt, when you have someone like Patrick Beverley that's a pest, a gnat, a fly, like being at home, it's like you're always worried about him. That's what Devin Booker saw tonight.
Yeah.
He saw, in Game 2 as well. So the last two games, Devin Booker has not shot the ball particularly well. Talk about Chris Paul. We as athletes, we take 11 days off. We feel good. We okay. We're still human beings.
Yeah,
so
you rest.
A little bit of rust. Patrick Beverley being a pest, it wore on Chris Paul tonight. So they never really got into that Phoenix Suns flow we've been seeing all playoffs long.
We also talked in our pregame about Ty Lue's choices of bigs in this series. He's gone back to Ivica Zubac, who started the last couple of games, and Zubac was huge all game long, particularly in the first half. 28 points and 16 boards tonight. That matchup with Ayton went the Clippers' way.
Yeah, it totally did, and you got to give Ty Lue credit. I mean, he knows I can win this series. I mean, Matt, man.
Well, that's
because he's doing stuff over the last 10, 15 years that coaches just haven't been able to do in this league with teams with these kind of deficits in the playoffs.
Yeah, DeMarcus Cousins didn't play at all tonight in this game, but I think I said Zubac had too many points. He was plus 28,
there you go.
Which is huge, best number for the Clippers, but 15 points and 16 boards. Thank you, 3D.
No, come on, we're teammates, buddy. So, but to your point, that's why in the pregame show I was like, I'm not going to count Ty Lue out just yet. I was at the Dallas series. I saw Luka give him 44, 15, and 11. He said, we okay. I said, what film you watching? You know what I mean? I'm like, what film you watching? You okay? The guys giving you these kind of numbers. He said, I got a plan. And once again, Patrick Beverley was the part of the plan tonight to be a pest, to pick up 94 feet. We don't normally see that in the NBA, let alone in the playoffs, Zeke.
How about Reggie Jackson?
Oh, yeah. Yes, come on.
I mean, we know he got game, but over the last couple, like I say, I haven't seen a coach be able to do this in my lifetime of coaching. And like I say, going back to Golden State Warriors, Cleveland Cavaliers down 3-1 in the NBA Finals, and I've been in the NBA Finals a couple of times.
Yeah.
When you down 3-1, your ass going home. Excuse me. I'm sorry.
That's the way it usually works.
That's it. And he brought his team all the way back. It's pretty amazing.
Already overcome as a coach, more 0-2 deficits than anybody in NBA history. Jackson has been great for this team. He is a fearless scorer, and that's what they need him to do. Take shots and make shots, particularly with Kawhi Leonard not on the floor. We saw him up in a suite tonight during Game 3. Paul George, on the other hand, like Kawhi, is a sort of a low pulse rate guy. He's hard to read occasionally, but in situations like this, he's also not going to get too excited. And he didn't shoot the ball great tonight, but a lot of good stuff out of George.
Yeah, man, and understanding when you say next man up, sometimes it's got to be you within. And I think that's what Paul George is showing us. Yeah. And last year, so many people poked at him how he played in the bubble. But guess what? He got out to a slow start against Luka. He found his confidence and finished out that series. Then the next series. Now against Phoenix, okay, didn't shoot the ball particularly well. No Kawhi Leonard. Now let me get everyone else involved. And I think that's what we've shown, that I don't have to shoot more. Let me share more, play good defense. How many rebounds tonight? 15 rebounds.
15, yeah.
So he showed he can do other things and still be the best player on the floor.
And because he shared, guys like Luke Kennard, right? Who we know can shoot the basketball, but we haven't seen him this whole year play with this kind of confidence that he was playing with tonight. And he wasn't, he didn't have like a 20-point night or anything,
right.
But his confidence in the way he played and the way he shot the basketball and the way he went after it, I thought he made, a couple of big shots and a couple of feel-good moments that really gave the Clippers some momentum.
Yeah.
I'm really surprised that the Clippers won this game. I really am, because I had Phoenix coming in with momentum, Kawhi out, Paul ready. I thought Phoenix, could go up 3-0 tonight. And, again, give the Clippers credit.
Home team's now 3-0, and we have ourselves a series with Phoenix now up 2-1. And let's go to Reggie Jackson tonight. 23 points for Jackson on 9 of 17 shooting. Let's listen in.
It seemed like you guys couldn't really get that lead up to 20, even though you guys were pushing, making that run in the third quarter. How did you guys just get over that hump there down at the end?
I just found a way to make some shots, started taking care of the ball. They're a great team. They're a great team. They're here for a reason. You can't give them any extra opportunities, give them any easy baskets, any opportunities to transition. So we just had to shore up things, take care of the ball, and then we found a couple sets that we want to go to at the end, and we're fortunate enough to get good shots in for them to fall.
You're running 0-2. What is it about being the 0-2 Kings that you guys just are able to bounce back like that?
The team's resilient. This team is resilient. We always believe. We never give in. We never say die. Like I said, we never really have doubt. We continue to just chip away, try to figure out ways that we can be better, try to figure out ways to impose our will on our opponents. And this team's just hungry. It's always hungry to get better. You don't know what the result's ever going to be, but I love our approach. He showed a lot of heart, a lot of fight. I think getting his footing, getting comfortable in this series, Zoo's always his intents are pure. He always wants to come out and do his best that he can. He's giving everything he has for his team. I think he's just figuring out how he can make an impact in this series. Playing against Ayton, great guards over there in terms of attacking Devin Booker, Chris Paul. Jumped him, even the dunk that came off the backboard. It was great intent. So like I said, it's never the result. It's always the approach. So his approach was amazing tonight. He's a big part of what we do, big part of the reason that we got to win tonight. And hats off to him and the entire team the way they came in battle. I mean, Team Man picking us up with the energy. Luke hitting big clutch shots, timely. Everybody that came in, Marcus contributing. Everybody's dealing with a bunch of bruises. The way that he competed, the way that he wasn't combative about not starting today. He just came in and did everything he could. So this team we fought. It's been through a lot of ups and downs throughout the season, and we're just finding ways to stay alive. And that's what I'm proud of most of this team.
Go ahead, Andrew. Ty had said before to Bob that when you guys land, I'd say morning, you guys get back after game 2, he starts calling players and says, we got to move on. We have to move on. What was like the plane ride like, and what was like the moving on process like, where you guys just had to flush it and get ready?
Plane ride was cool. Me, I think I'm like a baby with emotion. So buses, flights, I don't really stay up. I try to stay up a little bit. But I just try to keep positive energy. I know myself, I try to go around just keeping positive vibes. Guys were still pretty loose. It was tough that we had the tough loss, but I think it hit us. It hit hard for a little bit, quickly. I think it hit hard quick, and then guys were over it. We were already on to moving on to figure out how we could be better. And not just the tip play. Yeah, that ate at us a little bit, but just plays throughout the game, how we could be better in terms of, limiting their offensive rebounds, limiting our mistakes, Ayton rolling to the basket, limiting their paint, so many paint touches that they had. So we knew that was the one that was going to be highlighted because it was the last play, but that wasn't what lost us the game. And I think guys were comfortable with moving on from that and figuring out how we could be better. So I think it showed. We're going to carry it over to today, and we're going to watch film again and try to figure out how to be better in Game 4 because this team has been a great team all year. And the Suns, they're going to continue to fight. They're going to go make adjustments, and they got great players on there.
Go ahead.
Reggie, you guys came out playing hard, but then that shot that PG hits it before the end of the halftime, what did that do for you guys? And then also, what was the conversation like in the locker room at halftime? Because you guys then picked it up, the hard play, like another level in that third quarter, and were able to sustain it in the fourth.
I think Paul gave us a little more comfort. That shot, it kind of probably killed their momentum a little bit. They started to feel good. So we're very fortunate to have a guy like that who can do it all, who can do everything in this game, who can carry the weight with shoulders on a lot of the load. So that was a big time shot by him to give us just a little sigh of relief going into the half. And then mostly we were disappointed with the way that we felt like we kind of let go of it late in the second. So we wanted to come out even better. We know we haven't been particularly amazing in third quarters at times. So it was just everybody in there talking about let's get better. Let's go ahead and find a way to continue to push this. Particularly Pat Bev was energized, fired up about us not letting go, not letting our foot off the gas and figuring out how to be better. So it's an amazing locker room we have. Everybody trying to collectively find lead from their position, from their role, and everybody has, like I said, pure intent. So it doesn't matter who's on who's saying what. We know where it comes from the heart, and at the end of the day, we all want to win.
Reggie, we talked to you before about your late clock offense in particular, but they cut that lead down to 6 in the fourth quarter, and then you get the transition layup, which you could have backed it out. You didn't have to take it. You finished it through contact, and then you hit that open three. You're up 11. That's another momentum killer. Like, what is the team kind of giving you as far as feedback, as far as the importance of creating offense, and especially in intense moments like that in particular?
They've empowered me. Honestly, this team has empowered me. This organization has empowered me since the time I've been here. From playing early, not playing, having DMPs, roles changing throughout the year. I think once we started to find some comfortability and just practicing and having roles throughout the game change, finding some success, it was really our leaders. It was really, Kawhi, Paul, Pat, and then collectively everybody, coaches. They were just on me about being aggressive, stay aggressive, stay aggressive. Throughout my career, trying to always make the right play and not necessarily just being myself and coming out and playing the game. It makes it a little difficult, but the more I just continue to be myself, the more that this team empowered me to be myself. I've been able to find success, fortunately, been able to stay healthy, and at the end of the shot clock, a lot of times they definitely are on me about coming search for the ball, staying aggressive, attack, and trying to make the right play, but just be aggressive. So, hats off to them. I definitely try to put in a lot of work throughout my career to be ready for those moments, but been working on my mind over the last few years, trying to be mentally strong. But you're only as great as your team wants you to be, and as they empower you. So, like I said, hats off to them. They all condolences, and they've been pushing me to just be my best, and I've been fortunate enough to be playing well. But without them, this doesn't happen.
Thank you, Reg.
Thank you. Y'all have a good one.
Appreciate it.
Bye, dude.
Thanks, Reg.
Reggie Jackson. Phoenix takes it on the chin. Let's hear from the Coach of the Year runner-up, Monty Williams.
Cameron Cox with 12 News.
Hey, Coach, how would you sum up out there tonight?
Look, it was a typical playoff desperation by them. We didn't play with the desperation necessary to win a game like that consistently, and that's how I would sum it up. Offensively tonight, we weren't sound at all. You look at the point totals in the first, third, and fourth. They played good defense tonight, but we didn't run our offense the way that we have been running it for most of these playoffs. But they played with a great deal of desperation, 50-50 balls, attacking the offensive glass, attacking the rim. They played hard in every segment of the game. We didn't play as hard consistently, and so you have to tip your hat to them. They brought it tonight for more of the 48 minutes than we did.
Next is going to be Dwayne Rankin with the Arizona Republic, followed by Kellen Olson.
Yeah, Coach, just your assessment of Chris and how he looked tonight.
Yeah, it was his first game back. You could see it, some flashes of it. I thought I played him too much, and he probably got tired, but it hurt us when Campaign couldn't come back, so I left Chris out there for a longer stretch, and then that's on me. But I think as he, practices more and plays more, he hasn't done anything in 10 days, and so, I think he'll get better. He'll be much better in the second game from a conditioning standpoint, or in his next game.
Next is Kellen Olson with Arizona Sports, followed by Dave McMiniman.
Hey, Monty, that third quarter was the most you guys have been outscored in any quarter this postseason. What did you see going wrong for you guys?
They came out in the third quarter and just brought it. Our guys were talking about their level of play in the timeouts, and everybody knew it. We just didn't match their force. And like I said, you have to give them credit. We have to understand that, playing against a team that was going to play with that kind of effort every quarter and we've been pretty good in third quarter. So that was a bit surprising for us. So they threw a punch, and now we got to counter with another punch and make sure we bring the effort and execution in the next game.
Next is Dave McMenamin with ESPN, followed by Mark Spears.
Bonnie, you have to play the game of his life, maybe in game 2 for Cameron. Did you have any sense of how this ankle could affect him moving forward?
No, I don't. We'll see. He tried to come back, and it just wouldn't allow him to, get back out there on the floor. So I'll get more of an update when I go in the back.
Next is Mark Spears with ESPN, followed by Anthony Slater.
Coach, Book didn't have one of the better shooting games. How much of it was just an off night, and how much of it do you think was the mask?
It's hard to say. He won't make excuses about that. There were stretches where we as a team, the ball just didn't pop around the gym the way that we.
Yeah, Coach. Along those same lines, they've put Beverly on him a lot more, on Booker a lot more the last couple games. What is he doing that's been so effective, kind of making Booker inefficient?
It's hard to say. Patrick's a really good defender. We know that, but there were times where Book just missed a shot. I'll look at the film. He's physical for sure. That can wear a guy down. We have to do a much better job of having more balance in our offense. If you look at the point totals, a lot of our stuff came late in the clock. That's not how we've been playing most of the playoffs. So, tip your hat to Beverly. He plays really good defense. He's aggressive. But when I look at the film, I bet you'll just see Book just miss some shots.
Next is Gina Mizell with Suns.com, and then Greg Moore.
Hey, Monty, you mentioned before the game that there were some things that had popped up in game 2 that you're like, those are things we need to clean up. Was it the same things that were popping up again? Okay.
Yeah, we had difficulty in our switches. Paul had a dunk at the end of the second quarter. We didn't communicate the switch properly. Another example was we helped off Kennard on a drive. We had the drive under control. We went and helped, kicked it to him, he got 3. Like, those are things we talked about. And so our guys don't have the excuse of being young anymore. We've won playoff series. We know what it takes, and now we got to go out and do it. We'll look at the film. We'll see the things that we didn't do well. We'll try to strengthen the things we do well and come back better in the next game.
Next is Greg Moore with the Arizona Republic, followed by Sam Amick.
Thanks, Coach. Should DeAndre have been more forceful in calling for the ball with Devin and Chris having such off nights shooting? Or should Devin and Chris have just done a better job of incorporating him? He had a really hot first quarter, and then he kind of faded.
We as a team can do a better job of getting DA the ball. That's on me. That's something that, whether we post him up or hit him more as he's diving to the basket. They were taking him out. I thought we tried to force it a few times, trying to make interior passes when the corners were wide open. But that's something that we'll look at and try to fix for the next game.
Next up is going to be Sam Amick with The Athletic, followed by Dan Wojcicki.
Monty, because of what the Clippers did the last 2 rounds, the story now is going to be, can they do it again? I wonder, as you guys took care of Denver, had a chance to watch this team up close, what kind of themes are you seeing in terms of how they do manage to hit back when they're down in the series? You've been obviously real complimentary of Ty.
Yeah.
What do you see about how they do it?
They play with a great deal of desperation in these situations, and our guys expected it. But I don't think we dealt with it well. We knew what they were going to do. We knew they were going to come out at halftime with more force, and we just didn't match it. And on the road, you have to exceed it. And so we've watched them for a while. We respect what they do, and we'll be better next game.
Got time for 3 more. Next is going to be Dan Wojcicki with the LA Times, followed by Jose Romero.
Hey, Mike. Devin had 2 rough shooting nights in the first round against the Lakers. Comes back out on your home court and is incredibly hot right away. Is he a guy that you talk to at all in these situations, or is it just that ball's going to come in and you trust it?
Both. I'll talk to him. We'll look at the film and see opportunities to, either knock it down or trust your teammate. But I also know that it's going to come because he works too hard, you know what I mean? And he's been in these situations, as you alluded to, throughout the playoffs. So we'll watch the film tomorrow. I'll sit and talk with him and Chris and try to, you know, see opportunities for us to be more efficient on offense. Like I said, I thought the ball stuck too much. We didn't move it around the gym. When we did, when we touched the paint and moved it to the corner, we got open looks. We didn't always make it, but they're putting a lot of hands on them. They're showing them a lot of bodies. Speaking of Book, and guys got to be ready to make plays when he gets off of.
Do you remember what you said to him after that, those struggles against the
Hoop.
Lakers?
The same thing I always tell all of our guys. Go out there and hoop. Don't forget who you are. I don't want our guys thinking out there. We put structure out there. We want our guys to use their gifts within our system. But I tell our guys to hoop, and they seem to respond well to that.
Final two questions are Jose Romero with the Arizona Republic and Kyle Goon.
Hey, Monty. Did you sense a little frustration in Jay Crowder, just the way he defends, the things that you asked him to do defensively, just trying to get up in somebody and then the fouls?
I think so. But the one thing that we can't do is allow the officials to mess with our mental stamina. But I see the pushing off out there. We all see it. That's not something that, you know, anybody would sit in this room and say they don't push off to get open. And Jay's getting frustrated with that, but we got to rise above it.
Final question is Kyle Goon with the Southern California News Group.
Hey, Monty. Following up on Cam, who's obviously had a really tremendous postseason. What's harder for your guys to do when Cam isn't able to come out in that second half? And is it hard not to be frustrated when you get Chris back and the timing is such that Cam can't finish this game?
It's one game. You know, we'll reevaluate how we're going to attack them. We hope Cam can get back on the floor in the next game. Like I said earlier, it was hard on Chris because I had to leave him out there for a longer stretch. And during that stretch in the third, they made a run, so I left him out there longer. And that was a tough spot for me to put Etuan in. So not having Cam to spell Chris put us in a bit of a bind, but you know, hopefully he can come back and play in the next game.
Thank you for the time, Coach.
Thank you.
9-game win streak ends for the Suns, while Ty Lue's Clippers are now 9-1 in games beyond games 1 and 2 of playoff series.
On the text message chain, is saying something that resonates, or what keeps happening for you guys to dig so deep in these game threes?
I don't know. I don't like it. I'll tell you that. But, you know, we've been a resilient team all season, you know, all year long. You know, first I just want to give credit to Marcus Morris. You know, he was hurt, you know, didn't know if he was going to be able to go tonight. And he gave us all he had, you know, 2 big threes, you know, down the stretch, which we needed. But, like, just a total team effort. You know, our guys just keep grinding, keep fighting. You know, we know our backs is against the wall 0-2, but we never give in. I mean, the job Pat Beverly's been doing, you know, has been, you know, tremendous. I thought Zoo was really good tonight. You know, Reggie, you know, down the stretch. PG through the first 3 quarters, and he got tired. But, you know, we had to play him the whole second half, you know. So I just thought, you know, at halftime we challenged the guys to move the basketball and make the right play. I thought we just dribbled too much in the first half. And in the second half, I thought we really did a good job of sharing the basketball, moving it, and getting guys open shots.
Thanks. Our next question will come from Amy from Ramona.
Hey, Ty, you're going to Ramona. Go ahead, Ramona.
Hey, Ty. When you guys went out and got Reggie Jackson, I think he's one of the last people added to this roster, what did you expect he was going to be able to give you and compared to what he's actually been able to give you?
Well, coming into the season, when we first signed Reggie, our coaching staff, we talked about, you know, him potentially being a starter because of how we wanted to play. And, you know, easy for PG, made it easy for Kawhi. We really started playing, you know, a great offense, having a great offense, and we just never stopped from there. So I'm just happy for him. You know, he's had a heck of a year. Just we got to continue to keep pushing.
Go ahead, Andrew.
Ty, what do you think to make it just the defensive intensity to limit Booker to his shooting line, Chris to his shooting line? They never ever felt like they were in rhythm, and that's obviously a big change from what Booker did in Game 1. What do you think the defensive intensity ratcheted tonight?
I think starting Pat and Zoo, I think, you know, really helped our defensive intensity. With PG having to score and make the plays for our team, I think, without him having to guard Booker, it takes a lot of pressure off him offensively. Pat Beverly and Zoo together, that combination is unbelievable. And like I said, Pat's the best review challenge guy in the game. He's going to block your shot from behind, going to contest from behind, and make it hard on you. He gets into the ball. He's physical. And I just think making that change with him and Zoo, Zoo at the rim with the verticality, and Pat to be able to protect him on the pull-up jump shot. So that's been a big change and a big spark to our defense.
And those were guys you parked for much of the first round and parts of the second round too. I mean, you can talk a lot about your adjustments, but for guys to accept their roles shifting.
Andrew, it's all about winning, and those guys are winners. And to be 2 starters and not play at all in the Dallas series the last, I think, 4 games or 5 games, and then come into the Utah series and Zoo not play much, because we're going small because of Gobert, and Pat, the job he did on Donovan Mitchell, and now we need both those guys to come back and start again. They've been phenomenal. So, that's what winners do, and they want to win, and whatever it takes, they're going to do that. So I'm just happy for those guys to finally get their moment.
Go ahead, Lo.
I wasn't going to set you up with this before the game about the team joking about you, Bill Belichick, and the adjustments and whatnot.
Yeah, right.
I know you coached up in Boston, so there's some proximity there. But when you hear that the team will buy into what you're selling as far as adjustments and them applying it effectively, how does that make you feel when it works and even when it doesn't work?
Well, first off, I got a lot of respect for Belichick. I'm not nowhere near him. 6 Super Bowls, probably the best coach ever, football, in NFL history. But it means a lot just to, just for those guys to trust me, to understand that whatever I'm doing is the best for the team, not for me, and I just want to win. And making adjustments, sometimes it's tough because adjustments mean some guys can't play, some guys play more, and you got to be able to accept that. And that's the biggest thing. But you have the communication with your team all year long and just talk about one common goal, and that's winning. And all of our guys are on board, So, I take pride in making adjustments and try to do the right thing, But these guys are the ones who have to go out and execute it. They've been doing a great job of that so far.
Ty, you're good at knowing, having conversations with guys, knowing where their heads are at. It would have been easy for Paul to kind of let that last game linger with him, those free throws. What were your conversations like with him? And then you play him 43 minutes tonight, and he almost comes up with another triple-double. What else can you say about Paul?
Just after the game, we landed. We got back home. First person I called was PG. I just told him, we wouldn't be in this position without you. So, that game's over. It happens. It doesn't mean anything. They took care of their 2 games at home, and now we got to go home and win our 2 games. That's the most important thing. So, can't look in the past. We got to look ahead. And I called him. I called Pat Beverly. I called a few of the guys and just said, that's over. We had a chance to steal one. We didn't do it. It's behind us, and now we got to move on. So I thought PG did a great job of just moving on, like you said, and having a big game for us tonight in Game 3.
What time are those calls made?
As soon as we landed.
So
when I got my car, they got in their car from the plane, and then I called them on the way home.
Is that like 4 in the morning?
I don't know what time. Whatever it takes, It doesn't matter to me. But like I said, those guys came out, we responded, and just. After the first half, great defensively, but offensively, I just thought we were too stagnant, over dribble. We tried to do it by ourselves. In the second half, we really just did a great job of just making the play for our teammates and trust, and so that was good to see.
Go ahead, Miriam.
What got him to Zoo today? What conversations you have with him? What adjustments did he make that helped him?
Well, I think the biggest thing was Zoo, he hasn't played. So just getting his timing back, getting his rhythm, understanding what we're trying to do. And I think also offensively, to their credit, we haven't played big in a long time. So as far as running the same plays and the spacing is different. So we got to get used to that as well. But I think Zoo just, he wasn't going to be able to go initially, and then he did what he had to do and got on the bike and whatever else. And then he said he's going to give it a go. So we needed everybody we can get tonight. So just for him to put it on the line for the team just means a lot.
Starting Terrence sort of got Booker and CP off to a rough shooting start. What did that Terrence lineup sort of do to their guard?
Well, it allowed PG not to have to guard CP, which was going to do that initially when Marcus was going to start. And then it allowed Terrence to guard CP, pick him up full court, pressure him a little bit because CP hasn't played in a while either. And it allowed Pat Beverly to take Booker. So we try to conserve PG's energy as best as we can, with the minutes he has to play and the load he's carrying right now. And so it was a good start for us.
Thank you, Ty.
Thank you.
Thanks, Ty.
Suns had their worst shooting night of the postseason so far, under 39%, and Devin Booker was held to 5 of 21 from the field.
Hey, Book, how much would you think the nose affected you tonight?
Not at all, honestly. The nose feels fine. So, we lost the game.
Next up is Anthony Slater with The Athletic.
Yeah, Devin. What has Patrick Beverley done the last couple of games defensively that you feel like has been effective?
He's ultra aggressive. He's denying, limiting touches. So, he has one objective out there, and we understand that. So, tomorrow, go over film, regroup, and get ready for Game 4.
What were some of the biggest differences with Chris back on form?
I think he was getting his wind under him, getting back, coming off of a virus, and not doing any activity for a few days. But, he's ready to go. He's ready to get the practice tomorrow and, ready to get back at it.
Next is Dwayne Reagan with the Arizona Republic, followed by Mark Spears.
How much will that conversation that you and Monty have and looking at film will help you going in tomorrow so you can kind of see what you were seeing, but actually see it, in that setting?
Yeah, that's the name of the game. You go and, you watch film and see what we could have done better. We've been doing that since we started playing basketball. So, you watch film to improve and, to see what you might have missed in something in a high-tempo game. So, we're going to regroup.
How much did you guys miss Cam tonight?
How much did what?
Did you miss Cam Payne?
Oh, a lot. I hope his ankle's doing okay. Obviously he's been that spark for us, and, he's made a lot happen for us while he's been out there. So, I just hope he's in good health. I'll check up on him after we get out of here.
This is Mark Spears with ESPN, followed by Kellen Olson.
Book, I'm assuming this is the first time you played with a mask. How did you adjust to it? And also, you talked about talking to Rip and the advice he gave you.
It's fine, honestly. I honestly don't really see it, or it doesn't affect me. I did talk to Rip about it. Just put him in character. He felt comfortable, getting in the paint. Felt he had an extra protection. He had an extra layer. So just don't worry about it. Don't take it off when you shoot free throws, and just don't let it be a distraction to you.
Next is Kellen Olson with Arizona Sports, followed by Dave McMenamin.
Hey, look, in terms of getting to your spots tonight, did you like the quality of shots that you were getting for yourself?
I'd have to rewatch it and see. I think so. Just sort of thinking back. I know I missed some that I usually make or should make, but it's part of the game.
Next up is Dave McMenamin with ESPN, followed by Tressa Tudrick.
I think you told Rachel that you mentioned on the broadcast that the nose was broken in 3 spots. And
Yeah.
You had to get it set. Just walk us through when you found out the severity of the injury. Were you able to sleep? Did you sleep a different way than you normally would? And then what was the getting it set process like?
That was probably the worst part. It was a procedure that they usually say they put you under for, but we had a flight out a couple hours later, so they just numbed it up. All over the place, it felt like eight shots to numb it up, and then they go in there and they put it back. They break it again. They break it back in place. So, it was my first time experiencing that, but they say Cam Johnson went through it, so I knew I could.
Next up is actually going to be Dan Wojcicki with the LA Times, followed by Gina Mizell.
Hey, Devin. After Game 4 of the Lakers series in the first round, you'd had kind of 2 rough shooting games, sort of like this. And Monty said he told you just go hoop. He also told you go hunt a shot, too, really early in that next game. How do you process mini slumps like this? Are you receptive to conversations with other people in it, or are you a guy that's just like, leave me alone, I'll get through this myself?
Mix of both, I would say. I always hear people out, especially people I respect of Mont. But I've been playing this game for a long time. I've went through every type of shooting slump that you can think of. And the best advice that my dad gave me when I moved with them when I was 13 years old is have a short memory in this game. On to the next play, on to the next game, on to the next possession. So the quicker you can have a short memory and just be confident in yourself and the work that you've put in, and I've pretty much seen every type of situation on the court, so, I believe in my work. So next game's going to be better.
Next is Gina Mizell with Suns.com, and then Greg Moore.
Hey, Buck. The last time you guys lost a game here, you had those 2 days and then went on the streak that you guys were on. Is there anything from those 2 days after Game 3 of the Lakers series as far as how you guys approached kind of bouncing back that you feel like can help you guys this time around?
I mean, we keep our gym the same. That was my first time experiencing that. After we won versus the Lakers and lost 2, we're down 2-1 in LA, and you come in the gym and it's chill. Everybody's laughing, everybody's having a good time, but focus at the same time. Just with the, there's understanding around the team on what our next objective is and what we have to do. So it's not really talked about that much. You can just feel it in the energy, even when you're laughing, having a good time out there. Like, everybody's zeroed in and locked in.
Final 2 questions are going to be Greg Moore with the Arizona Republic and Brendan Clean.
Hey, Devin, Greg Moore, Arizona Republic. You and Chris both had bad shooting nights early and were going to DA early in the first quarter. And I'm wondering what got you guys away from that as the game went on.
I'd have to go back. The game happened so fast, so, that's what the film is for. Yeah, that's that.
Final question is going to be Brendan Clean with Locked On Suns.
Hey, Book. It seems like late in these games, they seem to have a shot to answer a lot of what you guys are doing. How do you go about containing them when they go 5 out like that and they have all those shooters on the floor?
I think the biggest thing is just guarding your man, just so you're not in rotation. They play a 5-out style of basketball when they go with that small ball lineup, and I think they're just trying to drive and kick. So just stay in front of your man to keep the team out of rotation.
Thank you for the time, Buck.
Appreciate it.
All right, now to Chris Paul, who after a 10-day layoff showed
Chris,
some rust and went 5 for 19, 15 points, although he had 12 assists for the Suns.
Welcome back. Just how would you sum up what happened out there tonight?
They outplayed us tonight. You know what I mean? We didn't make shots. You could tell they had, a lot more energy. And I got to be better. I shot terrible. You know what I mean? I got to pick up the pace. We'll be ready Game 4.
Next up is Rachel Nichols with ESPN, followed by Kellen Olson.
Hey, Chris. Welcome back.
What's up, Rach?
Did you get to shoot at all? I know you're not supposed to do heavy basketball activities while you're out, but did you get to keep up your game at all while you were out? And Devin just said he thought you were trying to get your win a few times over the course.
Yeah, I messed around a little bit on the court at my house, but other than that, good. I'm just happy to be out here playing. There's a lot of people, in the world who dealt with this and, don't get the opportunity that I have. So I'm just grateful to be back out here playing.
We haven't heard from you, just the timing of it, obviously, so difficult. Can you take us through kind of the reaction and then acceptance and then just waiting to get back out here?
Shit happens, and it did, and I'm here now. You know what I mean? So I'm cool.
Next up is Kellen Olson with Arizona Sports, and then Dan Woike.
Hey, Chris, nice to finally meet you. And in the third quarter, that's where the Clippers outscored you guys by 13. What did you see go wrong exactly for you guys there?
We was taking the ball out of the net. Man got aggressive. If you watch them all playoffs long, that's when they've been really good, that third quarter. So we got to see what we can do better. We missed Cam. Payne. I've been at home watching these last 2 games, and I saw the pace that he was playing with, and late in the game, we started to do a little bit. So we'll look at the film and try to make sure we're better, not only in just the third quarter, but all game long.
Next is Dan Woike with the LA Times, and then Gina Mizell.
Hey, Chris.
Yep.
Good to see you. Happy you're feeling well.
Appreciate it.
It's been a few years since you played a playoff game here in Los Angeles.
I played a couple here a few weeks ago.
Oh, yeah. That this season. It's been a long year, Chris. I'm curious, though, you've experienced a ton when it comes to weird stuff that's happened to you in the playoffs. What have you taken from those experiences? Do you feel more equipped to handle a curveball, kind of like the one you got thrown?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Things could be a lot worse. Like I said, I'm here now. Got an unbelievable team as in Phoenix, and I got the best support system you could absolutely have. So ain't nobody over here feeling sorry. Whatever that's in the past, you move on.
Next up is Gina Mizell with Suns.com, and then Dwayne Rankin.
Chris, good to see you.
You too.
Yeah.
You too.
I know you've played in so many games in your life. I imagine a lot of it is like riding a bike, but when you are out for 10 days, what is the toughest thing to get back as far as just kind of the nuances of the game tonight?
I don't know. That's a good question. I can't wait to get home and watch the film from the game. You know, it's a lot easier playing than it is watching it at home. I'll tell you that much. My nerves was terrible these past 2 games watching at home, but you know, it felt good to get back out there and play. And now, you know, we got some unfinished business.
Next is Dwayne Rankin with the Arizona Republic, and then Dave McMenamin.
Yep.
Nice to finally meet you.
You too, man.
Wanted to ask just how was your body feeling tonight? Because Monty was saying that conditioning, that he thought you were trying out to get you when you play a little longer than you normally would have if Cameron was there. So how was the body feeling?
I was cool. I was good. Yeah, I was good. I was good. Feel like I feel even better next game. But yeah, I was cool. I was prepared, you know, so.
Next is Dave McMenamin with ESPN, and then Tressa Tudrick.
Yep.
I think Chris Haynes reported that you were out in LA to a surprise out about the health and safety protocols in the absence. Just getting back to that moment, like, how did you find out? Have you been racking your brain, wondering how it could have happened? It's been reported that you were vaccinated, so obviously it's fair.
I was laying in bed with my kids and got a text from Brady. You know what I mean? And so then you go into, you know, it is what it is. You know, dealt with it. Anybody with kids, anytime you're going through something, the hardest part is being away from your kids and your family. You know, so once you get over the shock of what's happening, to hell with how and why, you know, you just start, you know, figuring out how you can get better. Like I said, I got the best team in the world you could possibly have, and I'm here and grateful. Appreciate it.
Next is Tressa Tudrick with Channel 3, Channel 5, and then Mark Spears.
Hey, Chris, welcome back. I just wanted to ask you a little bit about, there's been a minute since your team has lost. You've kind of been in this position before. What do you say to a team to kind of reset for the next game?
Get your rest, get some water, hydrate, get ready for game 4. That's about it. That's what we said. We'll come in tomorrow, look at it, see what we did well, see what we didn't do well, and get ready for the game on, Saturday? Yep.
Next is Mark Spears with ESPN, and then Anthony Slater.
Chris, welcome back. Glad you're okay, man.
Yes, sir.
Talk about Book. How do you think the mask affected him at all? And did you guys talk much about it? And what did you think about his injury?
They happened. I told him game 2 as soon as it happened. First thing popped in my mind was Steve Nash. You know what I mean? But I mean, he got the mask. He's fine. You know what I mean? Like, we're not one of those teams we looking for excuses and all that stuff. You know, we get them their credit. They played really well tonight. We'll get ready for game 4.
Got time for 3 more. Next is going to be Anthony Slater with The Athletic, and then Sam Amick.
Chris, along those lines, you actually broke your nose back early in your Clippers tenure and had to wear a mask for a few games. Do you remember that at all? Did it affect you, affect your play at all?
I remember I did have to wear a mask for a few games. I don't remember if I broke my nose. I don't know what it was. Yeah, no, it was cool. Did it for a few games, and then I was all right.
Final 2 questions are Sam Amick with The Athletic and Dwayne Rankin.
CP, good seeing you.
What up, Sam?
Glad you're healthy, man.
Appreciate it.
I wonder, you spent these last 2 years
playing damn near every game, and then you got a game of these stakes that you're having to watch remotely. But with what this crew did, I mean, what did you see? What was it like for you to be FaceTiming with them afterwards?
It's kind of a blur now. I feel like that was like 3 weeks ago.
Right.
But it's great, man. You know, I didn't talk to a few guys around the league who called, checked on me or whatnot. But I think the biggest thing, they called and said they just love the way our team is. You know, a few guys like stars in our league who called and was like, man, just to see the way that you guys really play together, play for each other, you know, that's real. Right. You know, our relationships and stuff. So it's genuine. It's a fun group to be around. And when you're around a group like that, you want to win. You don't ever want the season to end because you actually like being around each other.
Right. So. On a question, it's Dwayne Rankin.
Yeah, Chris, obviously I saw you with Javon before the game. It looked like you were taking it all in, being back on the floor. And now that this game is over, how much is it now? Hey, look, let's get back to what we need to do.
Just so you know, Dwayne, we do that before every game.
I didn't know that.
I know, I'm just telling you. We do that before every game, right before the national anthem. That's part of our pregame routine. That's what me and JC do. Yeah, nothing more, nothing less. Yeah, I know, it's all good, but I'm just telling you, you're going to see it again Saturday.
Yeah. We'll be sitting in nosebleeds.
Oh, man. Hey, talk to the right people. They can get you.
We are.
Exactly.
Did you notice his suit, though?
Clean over there. I see you.
Thanks, Chris.
Cool.
All right, thank you for the time, Chris.
Nice to see y'all. Y'all respect this.
Chris, ever home conference finals game in Los Angeles Clippers history is a rousing success, and they are back in this series. What can they take from it that works for them in Game 4 and beyond?
You know, when I look at the Clippers, I look at, you know, coach, team, all of them really are overachievers. You know, none of them were really like projected to be like, you know, the greatest or the best or anything like that. So, you know, I just like their fight. I like the way they never say die, and somehow they just rise up and win a game. And not only do they win these game threes, but they play well after being down 0-2. And it's you know, so I'm not surprised. I'll be surprised if they lose Game 4. So they're probably going back to Phoenix for a Game 5, you know, to see, you know, who wins that one.
Phoenix with their worst shooting percentage in the playoffs here so far. How much of what the Clippers were doing defensively, led by Patrick Beverly, applies to the rest of this series?
It all applies, Matt. We talked about it in the pregame show. I wasn't worried about their defense, Zeke. I was worried about their offense. Man made some shots. You talk about Kennard made a couple shots. Patrick Beverly shoots the ball better at home than on the road. That was the game for me because we knew Ty Lue would make the right adjustments and the guys would buy into it, like Paul George is talking about, Patrick Beverly, all those guys defensively. If Ty Lue says it, like you said, we saw what he did in Cleveland, we're going to listen. So that's why when you're watching this game, you're like, defensive, they're locked in, is when they started making shots. And every time the Suns made a run, Patrick Beverly or Reggie Jackson hit a big three that silenced the crowd, and that's why they won tonight, in my opinion.
And again, listen to the names that we're saying.
Yes.
Hit big threes.
Yes.
Right?
Exactly.
The silence. I mean,
Yes.
Patrick Beverly, not known for his three-point shot making, you know. I mean, it's you know, it's a beautiful story that's developing. You know, even though we look at, you know, the Clippers and we look at them and we say that maybe they should be where they are. But then when you really look at them talent-wise, you're like, these are some guys who really just overachieving. I mean, these aren't the best guys in the NBA per se. I mean, when you take Kawhi Leonard out of it, and even when you look at Paul George, I mean, Paul George, Long Beach, was it Long Beach State?
Fresno State.
Yeah, Fresno, yep.
Fresno State.
Yep.
And, you know, he 7th, 8th pick in the draft. He wasn't supposed to be what he's turned out to be in the NBA. So all these guys have really overachieved. They didn't come in like LeBron James, like Kevin Durant. You know, you look at their roster and it's like, you know, it's a bunch of misfits guys who just kind of like, you know.
And play hard.
Yeah, they play hard. I mean, Zubac, right?
Yeah.
He ain't supposed to be doing this in the playoffs. So I think we got to give the Clippers credit for just, you know, I don't know. They like the bad news bears or something. They're just a bunch of overachievers who just keep playing hard.
Maybe not as Hollywood as the name Los Angeles might imply, but the Clippers are back in this series, and they'll be back on their home floor for Game 4. That happens Saturday night, also on ESPN at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. Clips have now won 5 straight at Staples Center in the postseason. And so that'll wrap up our post-game coverage of Game 3. You like the Clippers in Game 4, and you?
I like the Clippers. Until Ty Lue showed me something different, I'm riding with Ty Lue.
Hard to imagine that Booker and Paul go 10 of 40 again, but still, defense travels even if it's on your home floor, and the Clippers were awfully good on that end.
And last but not least, again, the role players like Patrick Beverley and Kennard, they make shots at home versus on the road.
That's right. All right, that'll do it for us. We're here after each and every playoff game between now and the end of the 2021 NBA Finals in July.